just a no name. I hail from Indianapolis. Mama worked in Georgia because of the racist capitalist. Forced it to the east, I was dressing with the bacon bits. Syrup sandwich Monday, sloppy Joe Tuesday, Wednesday another hamburger helper dish. I can't wait for Friday so I can get some fried fish. Saturday barbecue, macaroni, ribs.
Podcast. I'm sitting here with my Uncle Cant, and we're having a very intimate, candid conversation about religion, politics, relationships, love. And I felt what we were talking about needed to be shared with the world.
What's going on is heavy here with another heavy thought, and just thinking about relationships and how people view black males. And a lot of people really believe that black males cannot be hurt. And they really think males in general can't be hurt, especially not by females. So what this does is open up the doors for black men to be hurt and abused and experience trauma. And since black men don't think they can be hurt, then we don't seek out any help for this trauma, because the greater society won't see anything we went through as traumatizing, because we can't be hurt or traumatized, because we're these alpha males who are just these strong dogs, and we got this dog in us and can't nobody hurt us. It's not true. There's no studies that show this. So in this video, you're going to see me talking with my uncle. And this was back in 2022 because we were talking and he just said some things to me that I had to share with people because I just disagree with him. And I want people to see that just because you disagree with somebody does not mean you cannot keep talking to them and love them and like them. It doesn't. It does not mean that. So enjoy this interaction between me and my uncle, and I just want all black men to know you can be hurt, and you don't need to stay in abusive situations. No matter who the person is that's abusing you, do not stay in that situation, because you will experience trauma. If you don't get help with it, it's going to come out in negative ways in your life, and it's better just to deal with it and to get away from abusive relationships. And don't think that you cannot be harmed, because you most definitely can, black man. So enjoy this interaction with me and my uncle.
So my uncle was talking about being a man in regards to relationships, and he heard a lyric from my song that I just performed called Cry, where I talked about letting go of your ego, because it's just pride, and we need to let our pride go. And I was explaining to him that we go through things in our relationships where someone is hurting us, and I was asking him, if someone that you're in a relationship with, an intimate relationship, is hurting you, what should you do? And he told me to be a man and let go of my pride, and I'm gonna let him say what else he said.
Well, so before my uncle talks, I just want black men to understand that you do not have to accept abuse, verbal, emotional, physical, no matter the category of abuse. You do not have to accept it, no matter your religion, no matter your income level, no matter how you look. It doesn't matter. And that's important to know, and that there are other men that will support you when you go through something, and I'm one of them. But I'm gonna let my uncle speak.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's a pleasure to be on the podcast with my nephew Rodney to discuss some of the things that go on in everyday life and that I've experienced in relationships, with people in general. And, by being a child of God, is the word tells us that pride gets us in trouble a whole lot, and I was sharing with Rodney that, when I had a situation with my ex-wife several years back, and I went to my mother, and my mother, first she called me and told me that my ex-wife, which we were separated, and she moved in with her mother. My mother called my sister-in-law, which is Rodney's mother, Shani, and told her about the death of one of my in-laws. So my response to my mother was, Mama, what is it that I can do? She's not too kind to me right now. And she's hard to talk to, hard to get along with, so to speak. And my mother just told me the simplest thing in the world. This is the best piece of advice that I ever got from anybody. And my mother said, be a man. Now it's hard, to swallow your pride and look, let me rephrase that. It's hard for some of us to swallow our pride from time to time and do what thus says the Lord.
And this is what's very important. He's saying that God and the Bible is telling us to accept any type of abuse that comes at you. And I just vehemently disagree with this. And this is what sparked the conversation, because I was talking to my uncle and he made these statements that was basically telling me, and he would tell anybody else, which is why we're making a video, that it doesn't matter what a woman does to you. If you're a man, you will just take it and get over it because they can't hurt you. And you're going to hear him say something similar, and you're going to hear him contradict himself. And I want everybody to know that he knows that we disagree. I tell him in the video, I love my uncle. Because another thing I want people to see is you can disagree and still love the person that you're with, still like them. The disagreements is not what should tear us apart. But the understanding and respect you have for one another in the midst of a disagreement should bring you together. So I don't want anybody to think that I don't love my uncle and respect him. I do. This is why I have him on this podcast. But go ahead and let him finish talking.
And that piece of advice my mother gave me comes straight from the Lord. Be a man. So
then I said, so he's telling me this, and I said, okay, does being a man and dropping your pride mean that you're welcoming abuse? And I was like, please explain to me how it's not abuse. How are pride and abuse connected? And what was you saying?
And I said in Scripture, the words tells us that you make your enemies your steps to. And we have to understand that nobody can hurt us. Nobody can harm us if we got the armor of.
See, nobody can harm us. Nobody can hurt us if we got the armor of the Lord. This is dangerous rhetoric. This is very dangerous. Because again, you are telling men to take the abuse, to just stay there in it because you can't be hurt. But he's about to contradict himself in a few and say you can be hurt. Here we go.
Jesus Christ around us. It takes two people to argue. And if somebody wants to be abusive and foul towards you, you don't have to be that way to them. There have been many a time.
Now, this is where I totally agree with my uncle here. We're in total agreement. You don't have to be nasty if somebody else is being nasty. You don't have to be vulgar if somebody else is being vulgar. But if you want to, that's your choice, because they're directing that towards you. So if you want to do that back and then end that conversation and relationship, that's on you. But I do agree that you don't have to. And I would not advocate it. But if we're talking about adults, if an adult has a person being vulgar and nasty towards them, that adult has every right in the world to respond in kind to that same treatment headed back at that person. But it is very dangerous for religious people to tell other people that, you just turn the other cheek and do nothing because you can't be hurt. But watch, he's about to say you can be hurt in a second.
Times where I'm having a conversation with somebody in my family, or a cousin, something like that, and they can't quit using cuss words. You know what I mean? And I don't interject into that by cussing back with them, and sometimes they think that I think I'm better than they are, that I don't say some of the things or respond the way that they respond. So we have to keep in the back of our mind all the time that it could be a whole lot worse than what it is. And when you have the Lord in your life, the Word teaches us to turn the other cheek.
Okay.
It teaches us to turn the other cheek, and if you turn the other cheek and they slap you on the other one,
we supposed to turn and take the other one too.
You take
so this is when I get he was telling me this again. And I vehemently disagree with this man over here. I think this is abuse. I think you're welcoming abuse when you turn the other cheek, because they're just going to keep slapping it, because clearly they're a violent person and they want to keep slapping it. And if it's not, we're just using that as a metaphor, but I see that as welcoming abuse if you're just going to stay in it while somebody's doing something harmful to you. What do you say?
I said, well, you know, the word teaches us to have faith. To have faith in what we believe and faith in what we do, that as long as we're doing the right thing, the Lord will guide us and continually show us the right thing to do. It's awful.
Now, you can have this belief that God's going to show you the right thing to do, but God gave you a brain, muscles, hands, feet, and if somebody is harming you, he gave you all of those things so that you can use them to defend yourself and get out of any abusive situation. He didn't give us all these tools just to allow other people to use their tools to destroy you. That's not right. And if any book or religion or person tells you that you're supposed to just get beat on and murdered and there's no repercussions for it and you're just supposed to have faith while you're getting beat and killed, I totally disagree. And you see, I don't have any problem telling my uncle or anybody that, because we're supposed to be sovereign beings. And if he's right about God and we're a child of God, then we need to treat each other as childs of God. And if you want to harm me, there will be consequences and repercussions for it. So I just disagree with just having faith. Having faith in what? There's no need to have faith. You're really being hit and harmed. So it's time to get away from that. Let me let him finish.
Or for some of us to just stand still. And the word tells us from time to time that we need to stand, just be still.
Oh, I got a question now. You just made me think of something about turning the other cheek and standing still. So then are you in agreement with black people that forgive the people that like go into these churches or schools or churches or wherever and shoot and kill people? Should we turn the other cheek and forgive them too?
I think the law will take care of that.
Mm-hmm. But what about the black people though?
So now this is a tricky one too that I've seen a lot of religious people do. They'll say the law will take care of that, but the law will be human beings. So whatever the law does, it's not the law an abstract thing. It is people. People coming to do things. People putting people in electric chairs. People forcefully putting handcuffs on people, putting them in cars, taking them and booking them, fingerprinting them and putting them into jails and prisons. People taking people to court. It's people. So I just need people to understand. And when you say the law does it, it's still people directing the law. Not only is it people directing the law and creating the laws, it's people enforcing the law. It's people putting hands on other people. The law is a person. These police officers are people. I just wanted to point that out.
How should we feel about it? I'm saying, should we be forgiving?
If you're a church-going person, you know, that's what the word teaches us, to forgive. Because if you can't forgive and let go, you're going to harbor this stuff in your heart for the rest of your life. And it takes more energy to be mad and negative and frown than it does to smile and say, look here, I love you with the blood of Jesus Christ. And ain't nothing you can do that can hurt me. You may hurt my family. You may even kill somebody in my family. It's going to hurt me.
So there it is. He said, you can't hurt me. You may hurt my family. But again, if somebody hurts, hey, it's me. If somebody hurts your family member or a friend, and my uncle said, hey, they could hurt my family, they could hurt my friend, they could even kill him, then that means people can be hurt. And then he even went on to say, you will even hurt me. So finally he admits that people do get hurt, because they do. But black men, do not stay in these abusive relationships with anybody. male or female, intimate partner, boss, supervisor, manager, whoever. Nobody has the right to harm you, black man, and you can be harmed. There is no study that I've ever seen that says males cannot be harmed, that males do not experience trauma. I have never seen that. Please, somebody point me in the direction. These alpha people that you can just alpha your way through everything. Show me the studies where people can alpha their way out of trauma. How do you alpha a young kid out of abuse and not give that young kid counseling and support and resources and expect them as an adult to alpha their way out of the past trauma? Where does that happen? Nowhere. Black men, you can be hurt. Black men can be hurt. Black women, you can be hurt too. Let's stop with this thing where black men can't be hurt, because then it trickles down to black boys can't be hurt. And that is, both of these is happening. Both of these thoughts is happening in people's minds, that neither black men can be hurt nor can black boys be hurt. And how do I know this? Because they're the ones that can be hit with impunity, meaning they could be the ones hit with no repercussions given to the people hitting them, especially if they're female. I'm a school teacher. I see black boys get hit all the time, and all a girl has to say is, he hit me first, and that girl will be believed. Same thing happened with adult males. When the police is called to a domestic dispute, they're going to believe the female more than the male, or they'll just take both. Because it's this idea that men are wrong, men are violent, and they need to be handled in a wrong, violent way, which is the wrong way to treat anybody. And I'm not standing for it anymore. Black men, you do not deserve abuse. You can be hurt. Stop telling people you invincible, you Superman and Spider-Man and all these Avengers put together. You're not. You experience trauma. You will hurt. I've hurt. I've cried. It's hard to cry because you've been told so long not to, and you've been hitting hard, and you got callus built up all on your brain and everywhere, and you just think you're invincible, but you're not. This is dear to my heart, because I don't want to see anybody suffering. And black males, male adults, male boys are hurting and being treated wrong. Black boys are being suspended and expelled at higher rates. They're being referred to the office at higher rates than other people. All because people think that we're these monsters that cannot be harmed, but we can, black men. And black men, if nobody's told you that they love you, I love you, black man. I know that you ain't these horrible monsters that they say that we are. We're not. We are loving people that are pillars of our community, that help in any way that we can. Same as my uncle that's in the video. Even though we disagree, that man is a stand-up guy who takes care of his family. He loves his family. He's always there for people when you need them. Same with the majority of the black men in my family. Same with the majority of the black men that I know. But everybody makes mistakes, even me. Like, it's going to be times where I'm not there, that I forget something, that I don't do the right thing. That's okay. It doesn't make me a monster. But black man, I love you if nobody's told you. All right? This is heavy, and I'm out.